Yeah. Oh, hello. I'm just checking my nice list. Don't worry, you're on it. Okay. I just wanted to say I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to meet face to face this year. Um, but I wanted to give you that assurance and indeed to tell you a little story. It's the story of the three pigs. Okay. Now, once upon a time, there was a mother pig, and she had three pigs. And she said to them, guys, I think you're old enough, big enough that you need to leave home and set up homes of your own. And that's what they did. So they left home and they trotted off down the road and they came across an empty field that just looked perfect for development so that they could build their own homes. And that's what they did. Now, the oldest pig was mad about reading and he just wanted to get his straw hut up as quickly as he could. So he built it from straw, as I say, threw it up. It only took a matter of less than a day, and he had somewhere to go inside and relax and read his book. The second pig, he loved carpentry. So he decided he'd make his own house out of sticks. So he did that. It only took him a couple of days, and he was inside with his new workbench, doing some work with his carpentry tools. But the youngest pig was very thorough, very efficient, and decided he wanted a proper house made of bricks. And so it took him quite a long time to build his house. But when they were all finished, they were out in the field together in front of their houses, having a little song and dance, because the youngest pig was a wonderful musician, a fiddle player, not a harp player. Sorry, I was thinking of a different pig entirely. A wonderful fiddle player. And then suddenly, along the edge of the field, they saw the big, bad wolf. They dropped everything and ran to their own houses and shut themselves inside quickly, try to be safe. And the wolf came storming across, and he trod right on the fiddle and broke it. And it hurt his foot, and he got even more cross. And he came to the first house, and he banged on the door. He said, little pig, let me come in. And the biggest of the little pigs, because it was his straw house, said, no, by the hair on my chinny chin chin. And the wolf said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he did. The straw house all tumbled down. And that biggest pig ran out the back and ran to the middle pig's house of sticks and just got inside in time before the wolf came running up. The wolf was outside the door and he was getting even more cross now because he'd been running on his sore foot. And he beat on the door and he said, little pig, let me come in. And the middle pig cried out, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. And the wolf said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. That's just what he did. The house of sticks came tumbling down. The two pigs ran out the back and over to the house of the littlest pig, the youngest brother. And he let them in and slammed the door just before the wolf got there and locked it. The wolf was really angry by now and he banged on the door. Little pig, let me come in. No, by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. He huffed, he puffed, he blew. None of it did any good. The house stood strong. The wolf got really angry now, really fed up. And he said, well, I'll climb up your house and jump down the chimney. He started trying to climb up the house, but he was so well made, there was nowhere for his claws to grip. He couldn't climb the house. and he stormed off out of the field. But the youngest pig was quite clever, and he said, "Do you know what he's doing, lads? He's going to go and get a ladder, and he'll climb up and slide down the roof. Sorry, down the chimney. We mustn't let him." So they set a fire, and they put a great big pot of water on it to boil up. So if he came down the chimney, he'd burn his tail and run away. And they waited ages, and they kept feeding the fire. No sign of the wolf. It was getting dark, still no sign of the wolf. And finally, the oldest pig said, "Look, I'm reading my book. Why don't I just sit by the fire, reading my book, and I'll keep the fire going. You two can get some sleep." So the other two did. But then, in the middle of the night, the littlest pig heard something landed on the roof. Then he heard footsteps going over the roof. And he said, "Oh no, it's the wolf." And he looked over. His biggest brother had fallen asleep on his book. And the fire had gone out, and the water had gone cold. He thought, "Oh no, the wolf's going to come down." Just then there was a splash, a great splash, and a red and white hat flew across the room, and an old bald man in a red suit and black belt was standing in their big pot of water. It was me, and I was sopping wet. Oh no, the pigs were so embarrassed, but they helped me get out of my wet clothes and hung them up, lit the fire to dry them and warm me up. They lent me a dressing gown, and it really wasn't big enough for me. Okay, thank you. And I sat by the fire, warming my hands and warming the rest of me, and trying to get dry. And then I remembered, and I got my sack that had fallen on the floor, and I opened it up. And for the first pig, I gave him a new book. The second pig, I gave him some new carpentry tools. And for the youngest pig, I gave him a set of architectural plans so that he could build an extension for his brothers to live in, and a new fiddle. Oh, he loved it. He started playing his fiddle, all that stuff, and the other two were dancing. And all this time I was watching them and smiling. And my clothes got dry, and I popped them back on, and I looked at the pigs, and I thought, do you know what? They're happy. It better I'd get on and get to deliver some other presents and all that. So I just sneaked out, left them dancing, and they were really happy. And to the best of my knowledge, the wolf never came near them again. So I reckon that's a happy ending, don't you? So Merry Christmas and have a happy New Year. Bye then.